Hi everyone, it's Ailin here, back again with another video. So today I'd love to sit down and chat with you guys about a particular health issue that many of my clients seem to have come across, especially when they've visited their doctors and they've told them that, okay, you're likely to have osteopenia or you're likely to have osteoporosis. I want to get you tested out on this. And so yeah, I really wanted to go into depth with this topic today. Particularly because one of you guys left a question for me to answer in the comment section down below, and I just wanted to read out this question and I wanted to dig deeper into this topic. So I'm just gonna jump right into it, and here we go. So this person said, "Ailin, I just found you and I really love the simple way that you explain things very clearly. I was wondering if you could do a talk on osteoporosis. I am 70 years old. I would like to understand what I can do to improve my bone density without going on the meds that my doctor is trying to put me on. He is really scaring me with what he is saying about my bones breaking. I do not believe that's what he wants to give me is the answer. Please help me." Okay, so for those of you that are new to my channel, I'm going to start off this video by breaking down what detoxification is, what it is that we do, how it is that the body is truly meant to heal by always addressing the root cause. Now on this channel, we don't ever use symptoms or view symptoms as something that's negative per se. It's more of like our body's symptoms show us where the underlying cause is coming from. That's where the disease symptoms are coming from, where areas of pain are coming from, right? Or I know it can be very easy for us to attach fear to these symptoms, but the only way that we're able to heal time and time again is if we accept our symptoms and we can just see them for what they are. It's the body warning us of what's going on within and how we can fix it, right? So I'm gonna break down this question, and let's start off by saying this. I have seen so many times in my years of working with people how when they first come to me, they're still taking calcium supplements for osteoporosis, or they've been told to just start going on calcium supplements because of their age, or they have stopped taking calcium supplements but they took them a lot in the past. Now, the reason why you would never want to take an isolated calcium supplement when you're someone that's prone to having porous bones or weak, brittle bones is because usually the main cause of osteoporosis is having a weakness in one of your glands, particularly the thyroid and parathyroid glands that are located in your throat region. Sometimes there's an association with having a pituitary gland weakness located in the head that stimulates hormones produced by the thyroid and parathyroid. So what it is that I do as an iridologist and detox specialist, I'm able to see the symptoms, break down the symptoms that someone is exhibiting, and by looking at their irises, their eyes through iridology. Iridology is the reading of the eyes. All the lines and colors in the irises reveal where there's congestion or weakness in certain glands, organs, and systems in the body. So that's really cool because the eyes serve as a map, as a road map to showing us where that root problem is coming from. And in that way, we're able to fully address and heal our health issues. We'll be able to see what diet plan we can go on to start the reversal process, because the body is able to heal itself naturally if given the proper tools. And using the symptoms and the signs in the iris, then I can issue you guys herbal protocols, and so we begin to see the healing finally occur. So back to the topic at hand. The reason why I do not recommend calcium supplements is because if you're someone that has a parathyroid weakness or a thyroid weakness or a pituitary weakness as shown in your eyes, then what that means is you have problems or trouble in utilizing calcium, right? So if you take isolated calcium and you're having trouble utilizing this calcium, then what can happen is the body can start to harden in the most acidic regions of the body. So for instance, I've seen in my practice with clients, people's joints swelling and getting harder, arthritis becoming worse as a result of taking calcium. And this is because the body uses calcium as a natural buffer, as an alkaline element, and it will start to place calcium in areas that are highly acidic. in the body. So if you have very acidic kidneys, very weak kidneys, and you start taking calcium supplements, you can form kidney stones. I've seen that occur. Or if you have very weak joints in your fingers, then your finger joints can start to swell up because calcium is then put in those areas. So when you start taking calcium supplements that are isolated, not found in nature, you know, it's best to always take naturally occurring calcium, which can be found in fruits and vegetables and greens, right? And naturally occurring foods from the earth or from the trees. And in that way, you're able to get the right ratios of calcium to magnesium to vitamin D. You see, all these things are necessary because if you take calcium, you're not getting enough magnesium, you're not getting the right ratio, then how can calcium be absorbed? If you're not going out into the sun and getting vitamin D, then how can calcium be absorbed? If your liver is congested, how can calcium be absorbed, right? So there's always a domino effect in the body. Everything is interwoven, and really the root cause of all health issues stems down to three things, okay? So either you were born with that weakness, you have a genetic weakness in that area. I most often see that in the eyes. So depending on where that lesion comes from, if it's stemming from the bowel wall in the iris, which is like right around the pupil, then most likely it's a genetic weakness. We can see genetic weaknesses running in the family, right? But genetic weaknesses are not forever things. You have the power to reverse genetic weaknesses with diet and herbs, with the raw foods, with powerful magnetic, high vibrational, astringent, hydrating foods that can begin to clean out the cells and even repair cells and regenerate new cells. You know, the body has that capability. So there's genetic weaknesses that you can be born with. Now, genetic weaknesses can either be turned on or off depending on the foods that you eat. If you have a genetic thyroid and parathyroid weakness, for instance, and you're someone that's brought up with dairy products or processed foods or meat, proteins, these things are mucus forming foods and very abrasive to the throat and the thyroid. So what will happen is you start to clog up this region. Your sinuses will become impacted. You start holding onto a lot of mucus there. This can result in hypothyroidism or weakening of the tissue, decaying of the tissue, or it can result in hyperthyroidism or hyperparathyroidism, where it's just inflammation, right? Which one is easier to heal? Hyperthyroidism or hyper conditions are much easier to heal because all you have to do is relieve the congestion and mucus, the issue goes away, right? Hypo conditions take a little more time to heal. Hypo conditions can have a lot of mucus and toxicity in there, but then once you remove that, then it takes time to repair and regenerate that region, right? So there's genetic weaknesses. The second thing that is the root cause of all diseases is toxicity. Toxicity from the foods that we eat, from the air that we breathe, from the chemicals that we put onto our skin, from any sort of toxin, whether that's electromagnetic, whether that's dust, you know, mold, anything like that can be a toxin. Another toxin is a result of the improper foods that we're eating, their byproduct. What is the metabolic byproduct? What is the end result of when your body breaks down that food? Does it produce alkaline ash or does it produce acidic ash? You see, a lot of protein foods that we eat, the end result is going to be some sort of acid. Lactic acid, uric acid, phosphoric acid. All these things are very harmful and damaging to the cells of the body because in order to maintain health, the body should be mostly alkaline. Sure, it can be slightly acidic, it's needed because there is such a thing as alkalosis, but all diseases occur in acidosis. There's a 0.000000001% chance that someone's disease can occur in alkalosis in today's world, okay? So we have to look at the foods. That's where toxicity comes in. Are you eating the wrong foods that produce acid waste? So in the body, there's two sides. There's acidosis and there's alkalinity. The side that is healing is the side that's going to stop the breaking down of tissue, the degeneration of cells, right? Because that's where these damages come from. Whether a gland or organ works properly or not is whether the cells are healthy or not. It's really that simple. So what we have to do is we have to bring hydration and alkalinity where there is hardening and acidosis and toxicity. That solution then carries away all obstructions and the tissue can repair and heal itself. Okay, now where does this alkalinity and hydration exist? What food group? What food group? Is it found in proteins like beans, chickpeas, animal meats? No. Is it found in dairies that are very clogging, very mucus forming, very stinky? Has that imbalance? It has way too much calcium, little to no magnesium. If you drink milk, you're not absorbing hardly any calcium, maybe 20% of the calcium, not enough. You get more absorption of naturally occurring calcium that your body can recognize and not put into areas to harden by drinking fruit juice or eating fruits or drinking green juice or eating greens, right? So you have to look at that. Will you get your proper alkalinity and hydration from starches, from rice, from oats, from glutens, from things that are very sticky and mucus forming and abrasive to the GI tract, right? A lot of people with GI tract issues or sinus issues, they notice their allergies or inflammation getting worse when they consume these foods. Grains, oats, rice, breads, glutens, these starches are harmful to the body. There's no hydration, alkalinity, or astringency to be found there. The reason why we want to focus on fruits is because they get to the root core of the body's main sewer system. So our bodies have a system in place to where they can clean out all these obstructions, toxins, and acids, right? But they can't do it on their own. We have to supply the proper tools and the proper diet in place in order to do that. This lymphatic system, which is the sewer system, which is the system that is meant to remove acidosis, obstructions, toxins from all the cells of the body, it does not have a heart to pump it like the circulatory system does. We actually have to do it, and we do it through exercise, right? When we move, our bodies, our lymph system is able to pump and flow, and so acids don't stay stagnant and they don't stay there, and so you don't feel as stiff, you feel better, you feel energized, right? But the problem with exercising is if you are not removing the waste that you're creating through exercising, then these wastes can build up. These acids can build up. So exercise in the proper given time, when it's appropriate, is excellent for human health. Now the next way, that is the easiest way, the cleanest way to pump this lymphatic system, which by the way is a very slow moving system. It's lipid based, it's very slow. So what is required to move and pump this lymph system, which is very appropriate for our bodies as Homo sapiens, which is why we're frugivores. We're naturally meant to be fruitarian in nature and eat fruits, is that these fruits actually have the properties to pull on this lymph system, to pump this lymph system, to carry out waste. All the waste going down to the main channels of elimination of the body, which are the kidneys, right? So all the waste that are in and around all of the cells, destroying the cells, you know, once those acids have been staying around each and every cell in the body for long enough, they will penetrate the cell and degenerate the cell. Decaying of tissue occurs in this way, no other way, you know. Mucus congestion can decay a cell if proper absorption isn't there due to mucus congestion, or proper cellular respiration isn't there, proper blood flow, proper nerve flow. All these things can decay a cell, but the only reason that happens is due to the poor foods that we're eating, right? So all this has to be looked at, all this has to be addressed, and this is why I have found in my healing practice that fruits are the most powerful in nature to clean and heal the body. Once you get rid of all these obstructions and toxins and get rid of the worst offenders in the foods that you used to eat, then the body will naturally start to repair itself and things will start to flow again. Proper blood, nerve, and lymph flow will reach all the different areas of the body. So fruits in their astringent nature. The most astringent fruits are going to leave that pucker feeling in your mouth. That means that it's very pulling. So grapes do that, oranges, berries, apples, melons, you know, pretty much every type of fruit is going to be your friend in any disease situation, right? Now, more cleansing of the fruits are going to be lemons, limes, citrus, grapes, watermelons. Those are more aggressive. But fruits like plums, peaches, you know, strawberries, the tropical fruits, bananas, pineapples, they're okay too. So that's the foundation of the diet. Where greens come into play is they're more of a balancing food. So for people that can't eat fruit, you can't jump into an all fruit diet right away. I don't recommend most people to do that. The ideal diet, if you're switching from a standard American diet or a standard animal-based diet, you want to start with fruit during the day, fruit at lunch, salad at night, maybe some steamed veggies. You go with that for a while, and then after a while, once you're used to that flow and that rhythm of eating these types of foods, then you can get rid of the cooked foods from the steamed vegetables and just do an all raw vegan diet. That's going to be the most powerful at healing and regenerating the body. So that covers genetic weaknesses, toxins, right? And then the next one is going to be just general acidosis. We kind of covered that already, right? So with the lymph system, our bodies, even when we're not eating, it produces acids. It produces acids every single day through breathing, through running all the cellular processes in the body, through balancing things out. It just naturally produces acids. So you could be eating the most pristine diet in the world, a raw vegan diet, a fruit diet, but if your channels of elimination are weak, like let's say you have a genetic kidney weakness, or let's say you have weak adrenals, or a weak pituitary, or your colon is very sluggish and weakened, prolapsed, if you're having trouble pooping, or if you don't see this waste coming out through your urine as sediment, you know, as kidney filtration, which by the way, if you guys want to check out an article about kidney filtration, that is the key to detoxing the body, I'll put it in the description box down below on the website at www.spiritualhealing.com. So I'll leave that article down below. But what you really want to do is focus on getting those kidneys to filter, seeing that sediment, because it means that you're finally getting rid of all the acidic waste from your body so your cells can heal and regenerate. So those are the three main causes of diseases. I really wanted to start this video off with that basis, with that base, to get us started off, because I know many of our subscribers are new to detoxification, and so that's the basis of it all. Once you really grasp that concept, everything else will start to make sense and all the puzzle pieces will come together, right? So yeah, so we spoke about calcium, why calcium and taking calcium supplements will not reverse osteoporosis. What will reverse it is addressing the thyroid, parathyroid, pituitary, anything like that. Now, how can you tell if you're someone that is prone to probably getting brittle bones, weak bones, anything along these lines, like osteoporosis, arthritis, osteoarthritis, scoliosis, anything to do with the structural system of the body? There's symptoms that the body shows us when it's headed in that direction. So right now at this point in the video, I'm going to name some symptoms for you guys so you can see if you're someone that maybe you need to address it right now, okay? So these types of people will have varicose veins or spider veins shown in their body, their legs. The legs are very common, but some people can even show it on their chest wall. They can show it on the face. They can show it on their arms. Pretty much people that have veins showing through the skin, they have weak calcium utilization, right? The body is starting to break down the connective tissue. Calcium is being leached, so you can see things like that. People can have things like depression. Depression is influenced by calcium utilization in the parathyroid gland, so I see that really often. If you're weak in the thyroid produces calcitonin, so can influence calcium utilization. These sorts of people with thyroid weakness can exhibit cold hands and feet, hair loss is very common, poor sweating ability, which can even lead to skin issues like pimples and cysts and, you know, tumors and things like that, eczema, all these different things can occur. Let's see what else. Something else can be differences in heart rate or breathing, because the thyroid controls heart rate and breathing. Things like prolapsing, hemorrhoids coming from a weak parathyroid gland. So very common to see even in someone's eyes, whether or not they're having trouble utilizing calcium. That's why it's so excellent to see the eyes and look into the eyes. People with spastic bowels, where it goes up and down, you see strictures, you see prolapsing of the transverse colon, you see prolapsing of the sigmoid colon. Oftentimes these people have irregular bowel movements. They can have diarrhea one day, constipation the next, or be chronically constipated all the time, or have diarrhea all the time. Essentially, they don't have normal formed stools or bowel movements. Now, how this connects to even glands, it's amazing, because lymphatically speaking, the colon is tied all the way up into the head region and even the throat. So if you're someone that has trouble eliminating through the colon, or if you look at your eyes, you have a lot of like dark areas around the pupil. If it's darker than the rest of your eye, you know you have interstitial lymphatic constipation in the gut wall, in the GI tract. How this affects the thyroid and parathyroid and pituitary gland, this is something so common I see in correlation with people's symptoms that come to me with these issues, is that if your colon is backed up, then you're going to start backing up from head to toe. So it'll affect the chest, it'll affect the throat, it'll affect the head, the brain region. So it's very interesting how in the eyes, right there where the colon, where the transverse colon is, we'll often see either a prolapse or many lesions leaching toxicity up into the head region. And what gland is right there is the pituitary gland that influences the thyroid and the parathyroid. This is why things like T3, T4, TSH, thyroid panels are very inaccurate. So inaccurate, because you can go to these tests one day and the next day it'll result into something completely different. So I've seen people that have a thyroid weakness as seen in their eyes and exhibited in all their symptoms, but they go and get that thyroid blood panel and the levels say that it's fine. So it's not always accurate. The best way to determine the health of your thyroid is through the basal temperature test. Now this requires a special type of thermometer, a mercury thermometer, which are the old-fashioned thermometers, right? They still sell them. So what I recommend for people, if you're wary about whether or not your thyroid is working correctly, then what you should do is you should get this thermometer, this special type of thermometer, leave it by your bed, shake it down, leave it by your bed, and then right upon waking in the morning, right when you wake up, before you get out of bed or do anything, you take out this thermometer and put it under your armpit and leave it there for 10 minutes. Then you take it out after 10 minutes and see what it reads. If this number says anything below 97.8, then you are hypothyroid, okay? Healthy ranges will show themselves as 97.8 through 98.2 degrees Fahrenheit. So I tell all my clients, check your basal temperature each month to see if your thyroid is strengthening and increasing in function. This is a really useful tool, okay? So what we must do if we find ourselves with these weaknesses, there are certain herbal formulas that you can take that address these weaknesses, and this is what I do. I work with reading your body and seeing everything that's going on and providing a diet and herbal protocol. In terms of diet, I'll tell you guys the truth. Oranges and citrus are excellent for repairing the thyroid and parathyroid gland and the pituitary, because it's oranges, specifically oranges, and it's so beautiful how nature was designed, specifically oranges, that help dissolve all the mucus that's clogging up the sinuses and the throat and the head region. So if one has a pituitary weakness due to chronic lymphatic stagnation or mucus in that region, oranges and citrus dissolve that and, take it out of the body. You'll see all this mucus when you guys go on your detox journeys, or for those of you that are on your journeys already, you'll see this mucus coming out through your sinuses, through your throat, coughing and spitting it up. You'll see it coming out through your ears, through your eyes. You'll see it even leaving your body through your bowel movements. Seeing mucus in your stools, that's going to be fantastic in showing you that you're actually going and headed in the right direction. So we want to always look out for all these things. Oranges are fantastic, but not only that, oranges are high in calcium, in natural calcium. So always ditch the supplements, calcium supplements, you don't need them. What is high in calcium is going to be fruits, greens, and the highest natural sources of calcium in nature that are usable by the body are going to be sesame seeds and kelp, which is a sea veggie, an algae, very high in calcium, and these foods will not harm the body, right? So before going into that, before you start eating sesame seeds and kelp, I always advise to clean out the body first, because once you start taking these things in, thyroid function will start to pick up. That's not what you want initially. You want to take a few weeks or maybe a month or two cleaning out that area, because if you inspire activity of a gland, then acids will form. And if you're already having acids there, then it's just going to result in not so great healing. You want the area to be alkaline until, you want the area to be alkaline for cellular regeneration. So I always say clean first and then strengthen and repair after. So it's cleaning and strengthening, or you can go back and forth with that, right? I wanted to take this opportunity in this point of the video to talk about common misconceptions when it comes to osteoporosis, and especially hormone therapy, because you guys, I'm telling you, almost every client that comes to me, they have harmed themselves with hormone therapy in the past, like a thyroid hormone therapy, or a hormone supplement, or a steroid supplement that the doctors recommend to them. Every time you take a synthetic hormone or a synthetic steroid into your body, that gland, that corresponding gland, is going to say, okay, since I'm being given what I'm supposed to make, I'm going to stop working. This brings down things like the thyroid gland, the adrenal glands, the ovaries. So I never recommend hormone therapy. It will not resolve the root cause or the root issue. And what's going to happen is, taking these things over time, you'll have to take it every single day for the rest of your life, and your health will continue to decline. The worst hormone supplement that someone can take is estrogen when they have osteoporosis. And this is the reason why. The body uses estrogen as a way to break things down, especially during a woman's menstrual cycle. So estrogen levels rise as the uterine lining is broken down each month. This is why birth control pills are estrogen based, right? So in realizing this, that estrogen is destructive, and then progesterone levels rise towards the end of the cycle, to heal the uterine lining, because it burns, right? Estrogen burns. Progesterone is alkaline and estrogen is acidic. So it really bothers me when medical doctors recommend an estrogen in order to heal osteoporosis. It would actually make matters worse, because this is what happens in the body. And this is what I see even with people that come to me with breast cancer, or women that are estrogen dominant. Most women are actually estrogen dominant. Their body is burning from the inside out. It's resulting in fibrocystic breasts, it's resulting in irregular menses, heavy bleeding, it's resulting in cancers of the body. So not only do you have cellular acidosis from the foods that you're eating, the toxicity in the environment, the channels of elimination being closed off, the kidneys, the colon, all this. So it's just nothing but acids in between all the cells, and even penetrating the cells at times for some people, right? Causing degeneration. Not only do you have that, but then you have people that are naturally estrogen dominant. These people that are estrogen dominant, they have pituitary weakness and ovarian weakness to begin with, right? So what the body does when it is estrogen dominant, right? And on top of that, most people are suffering from adrenal weakness. People that have an adrenal weakness, they are not producing enough anti-inflammatory steroids like progesterone, right? So what happens is that is the way to counteract estrogen in the body or acidosis in the body. So what does the body do? If it doesn't have these anti-inflammatory steroids that it is supposed to naturally be producing from the adrenals, is that it starts to leach calcium from the structure, from the bones, from the connective tissue. What results is spider veins, varicose veins, prolapsing, all those symptoms that we mentioned earlier. So why would it make sense to further add to the acidic buildup of the body with estrogen? It would only leach calcium more out of the body. So it's really sick how, it's probably due to just not understanding how the body works, just trying to sell medications to people, trying to make matters worse, because the healthcare industry is not the healthcare industry, it's the sick care industry. They want their patients to continue to be sick or get enough just to get by in order to stay on medications for life. It is a business. Sadly, it's a business, and they want people to continue coming back. But with true detoxification, people like myself, true healers, we honestly really care about getting people out of suffering and out of fear. A lot of healers were once there on that side as well, suffering in pain with disease issues. Most doctors have not been through that. They don't come from a place of feeling diseased, having symptoms and having healed it and having gone through their entire healing journey and fixing their issues. So really, they're there with misinformation due to going through medical school, all the textbooks that they consumed, all the lectures, that information was given by the pharmaceutical companies. So there's that hidden agenda, right? True healers, we want you guys to heal. I really want you guys to heal. I want you to take your power back, take your health back into your own hands. Know that you have the power to heal with just what you put in your mouth every single day, and realize that there's herbs out in nature that can help you, right? So that being said, I do not recommend estrogen therapy or hormone therapy in any way, shape, or form. It will destroy the body even more, and leaching of calcium. So let's see what other topic we can talk about when it comes to this. We spoke about the thyroid, all these different things, but essentially is you're going to want to heal all this and suck it out. Suck out all the mucus and congestion and obstructions from all these areas of your body. The most commonly chronically lymphatically congested areas that I've seen and dealt with so many clients with all these issues, osteoporosis, arthritis, we've healed them right up. It's not that difficult to heal it. Once the body goes on the correct diet and starts taking these herbs that it needs to strengthen and rebuild, spider veins go away, varicose veins go away, hemorrhoids are a thing of the past, prolapses, the sagging of the colon, weak bladder, all these different things, they start to strengthen up. Earlier today, I just spoke to someone through Skype that her doctor was fear-mongering her into having osteopenia or osteoporosis. But what happened? Everything is strengthening back up. I asked her, do you have your weak bladder anymore? Oh no, I don't have my weak bladder anymore. You see, so everything is strengthening back up with the weak calcium in the body, right? So calcium utilization is building back up. Now, on another level, this is something that you guys have to realize is it's not only due to hormones that can cause calcium utilization issues, it can also be a calcium absorption issue. Very often we see people having very thick mucus or mucoid plaque stuck in the intestines of the body. If someone has this, it means they're not able to absorb the full nutrition from their foods. Okay, so if you are eating something that is naturally high occurring in calcium, the body will not use it because it's not absorbing all of it. So it's so important to work on the colon to clear out this mucus or mucoid plaque, right? So what you can do in order to do that is the formulas that I use, and formulas that are very common in people that have these sort of issues, is I recommend the stomach and bowel formula, or now known as the GI Renew. You get the number based on the bowel movements that you have. So if you have only one bowel movement a day, you get a stomach and bowel number 2 or number 3, right? If you're someone that doesn't move very often, that you're constipated constantly, you can get stomach and bowel number 4 and number 5. So it's really based upon your bowel movements. But those herbs, they're very astringent in nature, very soothing to the GI tract. People that go on these herbal formulas, once I recommend them, that one and the GI broom later on, after a few months of, you know, hydrating the body, you can go on the GI broom, you start to see this thick mucoid plaque, and it actually will come out through your stools and you'll be able to see it. Once that happens, you'll feel satisfied eating raw foods, and you'll even notice over time that you actually need to consume less food in order to feel satisfied. And why is that? It's because you're finally absorbing the full nutrition from your foods, right? So absorption. And there's 4 processes in the body, whether or not someone can be deficient in something. If you're deficient in iron, if you're copper deficient, if you have any sort of mineral deficiency or B12 deficiency, anything like that, vitamin D deficiency, it all stems from the colon, okay? But it can also stem from these 4 processes. You have to ask yourself, am I digesting my foods properly? Am I completely breaking them down? If you're not, you're going to see undigested food in your stools. You're going to experience gas and bloating, right? You're going to notice like, oh, certain foods give me pain or uncomfortability, right? Whether that's a fat food or a protein food. So you have to ask yourself, is my digestion working properly? We can see this in the eyes. If someone has a stomach ring right around the pupil, it's a very faint stomach ring, or if we see lesions emanating from the center of the iris through the pupil, stomach weakness, digestive weakness. We can already assume that, right? Or if they have a lesion going through the pancreas or the liver gallbladder, digestive weakness. You know, we have to go in, clean those areas and repair those areas with the herbs, or sometimes even a glandular, depending on how severe it is. Some people are not digesting anything, and if they eat a certain food, it comes out and passes right through them the same way. They haven't broken anything down. You can see tomato skins, you can see grape skins, you can see, you know, shreds of lettuce and greens. These people are not breaking down their food. So digestion has to be, you know, taken care of, right? Now, second is absorption, that we already spoke of. If you're filled with mucus, mucoid plaque in your intestines, and you guys can see what that looks like. I'm gonna also put what is mucoid plaque article in the description box below, so you guys can understand detox and what to expect when you start going on this journey, what that looks like, okay? You want that stuff to come out. So absorption. Utilization is the next one. Utilization comes from the adrenal glands. If you're deficient in all these different things that we mentioned, minerals and vitamin B12, that's due to adrenal weakness. Many people have iron deficient anemia. That comes from the adrenal glands. So you have to perk up your adrenals. A good way, whether or not your adrenal glands are functioning or not, is check your blood pressure. If you have the number, the top number being between 120 to 130, you have pretty decent adrenal health. The bottom number, if it's between 60 to 70, you have pretty good kidney health. But for people with utilization issues, usually that's not the case. They usually have very low blood pressure. Anywhere lower than 120, so if it's chronically low, it'll be low hundreds or even 90s or 80s. It's chronic adrenals. You want to address that. You want to heal the adrenals with an adrenal formula, right? And it's not enough to do the adrenal formulas that you find in health food stores. They're not strong enough, you know. They don't inspire detoxification of the glands, because if they did, people would start to experience detox symptoms and not realize what's going on. Their urine would be getting darker, then they would think, oh my god, I have a urine infection, or they might start to feel detox pains, you know, of the lymph system pulling and tugging in different regions. So, you know, formulas in the health food stores, they can't be that strong for a reason, and people would, you know, go crazy and not understand, right? So the formulas that I use with my clients, they're very strong, but they should only be recommended in conjunction with looking at the eyes, looking at the symptoms, looking at someone's health history, looking at someone's genetic history, because not one person's diet or herbal protocol, healing protocol will look the same. It really is dependent on whether or not certain areas of the body are weak or congested, okay? So you really want to strengthen your adrenals. Now, elimination, that's the last one of the 4 processes. Elimination, we already discussed that. If your kidneys are not filtering, if you pee in a jar and you see you see very, very clear, and you don't see cloudy urine or mucus strands or flakes, if you don't see anything like that, then your kidneys are not filtering. It means you are building up acidic waste within the body. You're not reaching it, right? So that's the main goal to achieve when healing any disease in the body, is you want to pee in a jar and see it and see if there's kidney filtration in it, okay? You should see kidney filtration while you're on an all raw vegan diet or fasting. That's one channel of elimination. If you have poor sweating ability, you know that you're not removing 3 pounds of waste that should be coming out of your skin every single day. If you're chronically constipated or diarrhea, which is like the same coin, just different sides of the same coin, then you're having trouble with elimination. So all these 4 processes can cause deficiencies in the body if calcium absorption is an issue. But normally it's both. Calcium absorption, calcium utilization from the parathyroid gland and from the intestines. Cleaning out the GI tract will start to drain all the areas and all the organs that are nearby it. So for those with prostate weakness, prostate will go down in inflammation as lymphatic drainage will occur in the colon. Same thing with the ovaries, same thing with the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. Everything is addressed, which is why you have to address the colon. So now, I think I've covered pretty much everything, but let me look at my notes just to make sure. Okay, so now in terms of herbs that I would recommend for someone that has an ovarian weakness or pituitary weakness, if you see that you have an ovarian weakness, right? If I look at your eyes, there's an ovarian weakness. And if you have a pituitary weakness, then I would recommend the female reproductive formula, okay? Certain signs of having these weaknesses will be if you started your menstruation very early in life, like at around the age of 10 or 11 or 12, that means most likely you have this ovarian and pituitary weakness, okay? So you can go on the female reproductive formula. If you're someone that has low sex drive or cramping a lot in the pelvis region, or even if you've gone through menopause already, just think back to when you did have your period and see, like, how was I? Was my cycle irregular? Was it on time? Did I experience a lot of excessive bleeding and cramping? All this has to do with estrogen dominance and pituitary and ovarian weakness. So if that's the case, then go on the female reproductive formula. Something that's really good too, this is, everything is connected in the body. So really it's about strengthening these areas. You don't want to only focus on estrogen. If anything, you want to balance these areas out. The female reproductive formula is not an estrogenic formula. It's actually a progesterone promoting formula, because as you strengthen the pituitary and the ovaries, then progesterone is going to balance, estrogen is going to balance. So it's very important to always work on the female reproductive system, the adrenal glands, and if there's a weakness in the pituitary, then address the pituitary. But it's very, very important, before you touch this very sensitive gland in the head region, the pituitary gland, you have to ask yourself, if you have a lot of congestion in the head, and if we see that in your eyes, or if your doctor, if you've done like tests, scans, and they've actually located a pituitary tumor, you cannot touch that area. Anywhere that there's a tumor can also cause hypoconditions, right? So there are people with thyroid weaknesses, but they have a goiter. A goiter is a tumor, is nothing but a pocketed area of a lymphatic sewage. So you cannot address that area until it's clean, until it's shrunken, vice versa, whether that's pituitary tumor or a thyroid tumor, okay? So you want to clean those areas out first. It's very important. But if that's not an issue, then definitely take a pituitary formula. Now, some people's weaknesses are so great. They are genetic weaknesses, okay? We can only see this in the eyes and the family and the genetic family history. If it's a very big weakness, you'll see a very dark black line or black lacuna in the iris. And if the person has already tried herbs and herbal formulas for some time, or has tried to heal for a long time and their kidneys are still not filtering, they're not seeing results still, then I would recommend a glandular, pituitary glandular, or adrenal glandular if that's needed, or a thyroid glandular or a parathyroid glandular. But like I said, to be safe, it's always best to clean out these areas first, and then you can go on something like that. But glandulars should only be used with supervision from a detox specialist like myself, because there is such a thing as taking too much glandular, or too long glandular, or too little, or too much, right? So dosages are very important. So I always recommend, if you want to go the glandular route, you must work with a detox specialist that's knowledgeable and experienced, such as myself, because then you can hurt yourself on glandulars. But at the same time, glandulars are going to be vastly better than going on hormone therapy, because with hormone therapy you're taking something synthetic and you're not healing the gland, you're only putting a band-aid on it, a temporary band-aid, right? With a glandular, you are actually healing the gland or healing the said organ, because how glandulars work is they work by helping that cell genetically remember how to function again, with the like versus like concept. So you take a glandular, it goes to that glandular organ, it helps it genetically remember how to function, then all the elimination channels start to open up. So some people need to go that route if they are in a chronic state of weakness or sickness. Some people go that route. Some people can heal on just the herbal formulas alone, okay? So really that's it, guys. I hope that made sense. I really have been wanting to cover this topic for some time now, but I think that's definitely enough information for you guys. You guys know how I like to give as much information as possible, because I really want all of you to heal. So take this information, take the suggestions, go on the raw diet, consume a lot of oranges and citrus to help break down all this congestion that can be causing you these health issues, and you'll start to put back calcium to your bones again. Remember, osteoporosis is not an age-related disease. I have seen people as young as in their 20s have osteoporosis or osteoarthritis. Same thing goes, whether that's bone structure or connective tissue or cartilage, it's the same thing. Acids break these areas down. To fix them again, alkalize, hydrate, address the weaknesses that are very common with closing off the channels of elimination and calcium utilization, and you'll be golden. You can heal, you can detox, you'll be free from any medications, from any fear of diseases, and you're going to do amazing. So yeah, guys, if any of you are suffering out there or feel like you need help, like one-on-one with a detox specialist, then you guys can find my services at www.spiritualhealing.com. In the services tab on that website, you'll find the Master Your Health package. You'll also find the VIP support program. If you're someone that needs a lot of help or a lot of day-to-day help, like someone holding your hand or keeping you accountable, you can go for the VIP package. But if you're just someone that needs the answers and that you can start to do things on your own, we put together a pretty decent protocol of 2 to 3 months depending on your situation. That comes with the Master Your Health package, the diet plan, the herbal protocol, the reading of your eyes, the specific detox tools that you can use to heal your health issues faster, and everything that you need to help you get started really. For people that are new to this diet, that need help with ideas for recipes, or you don't know too much about the basics of detox, I recommend the Master Your Detox ebook available on my website to help get you guys started, okay? But really, Master Your Health package is necessary, I would say, for pretty much everyone in this world. We must know our weaknesses before disease comes to us, or before diseases get worse. So yeah, guys, I look forward to helping all of you. Again, all this information will be in the description box down below, and if you guys like videos like this, leave it a like, leave questions and your comments down below so that I can have more ideas for future videos. I really enjoy helping all of you, and if you're focused and serious about your health, there's nothing that you can't repair and regenerate and heal. I've seen it. I've seen the miracle of detoxification, and really, you hold the key to your own health. Don't let anyone, whether that's family or friends, sway you. If you have that focus, that intense focus, and love for yourself, then you can accomplish anything in this life, including the conquering of your health issues. Okay, so thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.